So, as always, first it is very important to develop the right motivation, which means to develop the thorough renunciation towards the whole samsara, and then to develop the infinite loving kindness and compassion towards all the sentient beings, and then to develop the wishing and engaging bodhicitta. So, in the previous session, I talked about the cause and effect, the law of karma. So, just to add some more on this, when someone has done negative actions, then that can be purified, no matter how serious negative actions are. If the person did the right confession, right purification, then there's no such negative action that cannot be purified. Anything can be purified. But if we think, I will do these negative actions, then it doesn't matter because I can purify. So if one has the purification thoughts before doing the negative actions, then with such intention, if we do negative action and then purify, then it is not that easy. If we have the thought of purification and think this is not a big matter or big issue if we do negative actions, because I can or we can purify. So with such intention, if we do, then it is more difficult to purify. So when we purify, we should purify purely with right intention, not to have such thought before the negative action. So this is just what I want to add on my previous talk. And today I will just start the third line of the teaching, because I think all of you know about the 10 non-virtuous deeds and 10 virtuous deeds and neutral deeds and their results. So I don't need to go through these in details. So today I will talk on the third line of the teaching. Actually, I'm teaching this based on a teaching manual. So in the teaching manual, the Jidram Thapa Gyaltsen's Parting from the Four Attachment song and another commentary text, these two are combined together. So first, I will try to explain the Jidram Thapa Gyaltsen's song on the third line of the teaching or third line of the pit instruction. So, Jidram Thapa Gyaltsen said, if we are free from the attachment, then we will attain nirvana. And if we attain the nirvana, then we will gain the real happiness or happiness. So we need to be free from these four attachments, or we need to overcome these four attachments. So it is not right to think about ourselves alone. It is not great benefit just to liberate oneself and leaving all the mother sentient beings in the ocean of suffering. So why it is like this? Because all the sentient beings are one's own dear parents, father and mother, because we are born in this samsara not only one time, but infinite time. And whenever we are born in this samsara, we won't have the same father and mother all the time. So our body change, similarly our parents also change, and our resident also change. So Jidrimchi said, all the sentient beings are one's own dear father and mother in this life or in the previous lifetimes. So leaving all the mother sentient beings or parent sentient beings in the midst of suffering and wishing oneself alone to gain happiness, such thinking is not right. Those who have such thinking is pity. So we must have an intention to help others, to serve others, to rescue others from suffering and from harmful actions. We should not do harmful actions to them. Similarly, we should also rescue them from others' harmful action, etc. So mentally, we should have the thought of helping all the sentient beings without any exception or any discrimination, because mentally we can expand, we can extend our object as wide as possible or as limitless as sky. So mentally you must have the intention to help all the mother sentient beings without any exception, whether they are Buddhists or non-Buddhists, whether they are following other religions or whether they are non-believers or whatever they are, it does not matter. All are sentient beings, and also all the animals that are there in this world, whether they are on the earth or on the ground or in the ocean, wherever they are sentient beings. They are mother sentient beings. So mainly we should liberate the humans and animals that are in this world along with all these sentient beings without any discrimination. So if we have such thought, if we have such pure intention, then that can really help us to make a better person, to make a good person, to make a warm-hearted person. Actually, good person or warm-hearted mind is something that we cannot buy from shops. Positive mind is something that we cannot buy or that we cannot ask others to make. It is something that we should make by ourselves. We should put effort to make this positive mind. Nobody can make this. No one else can make this positive mind for us. Only ourselves can make this positive mind in our mental continuum. So therefore, we must train. If we train, then it is not an impossible thing to do or to achieve. Nothing is impossible. Mentally or mind training is something that is not impossible. Anything, any negative thought can be removed. It is possible to remove any gross or any serious negative thoughts, no matter how serious they are. It can be subdued. It can be removed. It can be overcome. So, for example, when there's a wild elephant, and this wild elephant can be trained by a skillful trainer. Skillful trainer can really train wild elephant. So if we human can train wild elephant, then why not we can train our own wild mind? There's no reason why we cannot. Normally, we are much smarter. We understand better. We can communicate better. We can understand each other better. It is far easier to train human being because of our own ability to understand the instructions. But sometimes it seems it's more difficult because we are not really focusing on it. We are not really paying attention on it. That's why it becomes difficult. But otherwise, it is far easier to train our own mind. Training our own mind is the most important thing that we can do. If we can train our mind, if we can subdue our mind, then not only we can become a better person in this life, but also we can be a better person in our future lives, and gradually we can gain liberation, and then eventually we can attain the Buddhahood. So training our mind is the most important thing. So therefore, the most important practice is the mental Dharma practice. Physically and verbally, if we do Dharma practice, but at the same time, if our mind is distracted to worldly things, or if our mind is under the control of 8 worldly dharmas, then it is not possible to really train our mind, or it is not possible to really earn or accumulate great merit. So the most important is training our own mind. As it is said in the Bodhisattva Chayavatara by the great Acharya Shantideva, those who wish to keep the precepts or the rules, then they must keep or protect their own mind. If we can protect our own mind, if we can keep our mind away from negative actions or negative things, then we can keep all the samayas or all the precepts or all the rules without any difficulties. So keeping our own mind away from negative is very important. But it is easy to say, but it is not that easy to implement. It is not that easy to put these words into action. So therefore, we must put extra effort to do this. We must put extra diligence on this. If we put effort, then we can achieve great things. In the Bodhisattva Chayavatara itself, it says, those fishermen or women or farmers and others who are putting lots and lots of effort to earn their livelihood, they bear the heat in the summer, they bear the cold in the winter. They always go out, whether it's hot or cold weather, and bear all these difficulties and do these worldly actions or negative actions in order to gain livelihood. So just to gain livelihood, if they can put so much effort, if they can bear all these great hardships, then why cannot we can bear hardship to do something far greater than just earning the livelihood? Dharma practice is not just to earn livelihood, but this is a method that can earn far greater than the livelihood. We can gain liberation, we can gain the ultimate happiness, ultimate qualities, which is none other than the Buddhahood. So something that is very great to achieve, for that purpose, why we cannot put effort? If we can put effort for small purpose, then why can we put effort to achieve limitless purpose or limitless result or infinite result or ultimate result? So we must put extra effort. Actually, to control the mind is not that easy, because whatever we think inside is something that is not visible for others. Even though someone hates the person who is in front of them, but outwardly they can smile to each other, but inside or inwardly their mind can hate to each other, but they don't show their hatred. They just show their good expressions, good physical behaviors and good verbal expressions. So outwardly looks like they are a very good friend, but inwardly they hate each other. But no matter how much they hate to each other, people won't know, because mental action or such mind or such thought is something that is not visible for others. So since they don't see, they don't know, so people don't feel shy to have negative thoughts inside their mind, because nobody can see, nobody will know if it is not supported by our own physical or verbal actions. So therefore, people feel less shy to generate negative thoughts. But we should feel shy, although our fellow human beings, they don't know, they won't know what kind of thoughts that we are generating in our own mind. But law of karma will know everything. We cannot hide anything from the law of karma. We cannot hide anything to the omniscient Buddha. So with such understanding, then we feel shy. We should feel shy, because Buddha will know, law of karma will know. So because of that, we should feel shy. So we should always remember about the law of karma and about Buddha's omniscient. So through this, it can help us to avoid or to abstain these negative thoughts, and it can help us to do more and more positive actions and to generate more and more positive thoughts that is better for us and better for others. that is better for all of us without any exception. And to continue the Jiddu Rinpoche's teaching, Jiddu Rinpoche said about the self-exchange. So we should think all the sufferings of the three realms or the samsara should ripen on oneself, and all one's own merits be taken by all the sentient beings. Through such merit, or to the blessing of such merit, may all beings attain Buddhahood. So, Jiddu Rinpoche Thakpa Gyaltsen explained about this self-exchange, and also dedicate the merit of practicing the self-exchange to attain Buddhahood for all the beings. So, with this, indirectly, it shows about the loving kindness and compassion, and directly, it shows about the practice of self-exchange. Actually, self-exchange is the result of practicing the loving kindness and compassion. So here in this teaching, the result is shown directly, but the cause is shown indirectly. So now, to explain this third line of teaching from the commentary, it says, as it is explained in the previous teachings, we must see the whole samsara in the nature of suffering. And after seeing this, after knowing this, then in order to gain liberation from such ocean of samsara, we must practice virtuous deeds. By practicing minor or mediocre virtuous deeds, we can gain the Shravakas and Patika Buddhas, but such results are not the complete result or not the ultimate result. And it is such result is an obstacle for us to attain the complete Buddhahood. So we, as a follower of Sanskrit tradition or Mahayana tradition, we must not think of ourselves alone. We should always think of all the sentient beings, and for the sake of all these sentient beings, we must attain Buddhahood. And to attain Buddhahood, we must have the right cause and condition. With wrong cause or with incomplete cause and condition, we cannot attain the Buddhahood. We must have the right cause and condition. For example, we cannot plant a rice seed in a cold place or during the winter time, and by planting such seed, it cannot grow. Such seed will not grow because it is not the right time to plant or not the right place to plant. And also, those who wish to have rice, then if they plant other grains seed, then with such plantation, we cannot get the rice. To get the rice, we must plant this rice seed, and that also at the right time, at the right place. And also after planting, then we must have the right condition or the right factors like water, right amount of fertilizer, right amount of moisture, etc. So if all these causes and conditions are gathered together, then there's no doubt that we can have the rice as a result. So similarly, complete Buddha is a result that is caused by compassion. And the root is bodhicitta. So with compassion and bodhicitta, we can attain Buddhahood. And there are factors like skillful methods. So with the right cause or compassion, and also with the right root or the bodhicitta, and also with the right skillful methods. So with these factors together, then we can attain the ultimate Buddhahood. So to practice this, first we need to practice loving kindness, and then compassion, and then bodhicitta. And then we should train in the conducts of such thoughts or such teachings. So first, we must practice the loving kindness. Loving kindness is very important. Without this loving kindness, we cannot generate compassion. Without generating compassion, we cannot generate bodhicitta. And without bodhicitta, we cannot enter into the Mahayana path and progress on the Mahayana path, and then eventually we cannot attain the Buddhahood. So to attain the great Buddhahood, we must have all the cause and conditions in the right order. So first, we must emphasize, or we must focus or pay attention on the loving kindness. So loving kindness is important, and to practice this, first we should practice on our mother, because it is easier to love our own mother. Generally speaking, it's easier to practice our love or loving kindness to our own mother. So first, we must think on our own mother, and we should also think that this mother has been our own mother not only in this life but in many lifetimes, and has given the milk to us for a long period of time, not only in this life but also in our previous lives. So if we collect, or if we combined all the milk that we have drank from our mother, then it will be more than an ocean, or it is kind of beyond our ordinary thoughts. So first, we must recognize the mother. We must identify the mother, and in our life we must first remember our own mother. And even one's mother is already passed away, but then they can also visualize their own mother as a living being or living mother, and also not as a poor, but with good clothes, with nice ornaments, and youthful and happy mother. We should visualize like this kind of mother, our own mother. We should visualize in such forms, in such appearance. So after recognizing our own mother, or after visualizing our own mother, and then we need to remember our mother's kindness. First, our own mother has bared all the pains and difficulties that she had when she carried ourselves in the womb for 9 months or so. At that time, it is not easy. Not only it is not easy to carry, but also with that, there are other sufferings, physical sufferings and pains, etc. So just by giving the birth to us is very kind. It's a kindness that is difficult to explain how kind it is, because it is not easy to explain in words how kind it is for us to have this birth from our mother. So our mother is very, very kind. So in this world, there are many different people, different mentality, different behavior, etc. So sometimes they might think their mother is not looking after them well, or their mother is not kind to them. But just giving the birth is so kind. So therefore, we must remember the kindness of our own mother. Normally, most of the mother, they really look after the child day and night without having good rest, or without having good sleep in the night, or without having good food for them, just focusing on the child day and night, and giving better food to the child, and mother eating the leftover food, and spending more money for the child, etc. So generally, mothers are very kind. So now it is for us to repay. Mother is the first teacher for us, because mother has taught us how to speak, how to walk, etc. And then also, mother has shown great affection and give us their own milk whenever we need, whether it's day or night, whether she is busy or not. She always tries to feed her own child. And also, she has shown great affection, great love, and always thinking of the child. and working so hard for the child and putting lots of effort for the child. So therefore, we all should remember this kindness, and also benefiting us in many different ways and rescuing us from many dangers, and also teaching us what is the right thing to do and what is the wrong thing that we should abandon. And when we are grown up, then they spend their wealth for the child, as I said before, and also they put lots of effort, time, energy for the child. So mother is always kind to us. So now we should remember these kindness and repay the kindness. And the way we repay the kindness is not just through wealth. Many people think the best way to repay their kindness is to give them a good place to stay and good food to eat and good clothes to wear. Although these things are very good to do, but they are not the ultimate benefits that we can do to our own mother. If we need the real repay of the kindness, then we need to guide them. We need to encourage them, or we need to rejoice their own practice, or we need to encourage them to practice. And only this Dhamma practice can give them long and short-term happiness, or temporary and ultimate happiness. So if they are Buddhists, then we should benefit in such a way. We should encourage them, or we should rejoice them, their practice, and also we should encourage them to do practice in a proper way with the concentration and with the visualization, if that is possible. If not, then try to guide them as much as possible. And if our mother is not Buddhist, then still we should always remember their kindness and dedicate all our merits, dedicate the merits of our merits for them. And also, if we just focus on mother and if we just ignore all the other sentient beings, then it is not right. So since it is easier for us to practice loving kindness on our mother, therefore first we need to focus on our own mother, and then to father, and then to our other family members, and then our relatives and friends and neighbors. So gradually we should extend our object of loving kindness. So the goal is to have loving kindness to all the sentient beings without any discrimination or without any exception. So Dhamma practice is a practice that we do not only for ourselves and not only to accumulate merit for ourselves, and also not only to preserve the Buddha's teaching, but mainly for the sake of all the sentient beings. So we do practice for all, not only for Buddhists, not only for one nation, or not only for one race, not only for one culture, etc. We need to practice for all, because the object of loving kindness is all the sentient beings. Similarly, not only the object of loving kindness is all sentient beings, but also whatever we do, we should always do for the sake of all the sentient beings without any exception. If we don't have such purpose, then we can't say that we are genuine Mahayana Buddhist. So therefore, we should love to all. Mentally, we can extend our loving kindness to all the sentient beings without any exception. So all the sentient beings means almost 8 billion human beings who are in this world, along with all the animals who are in this world. With these two, and along with all the other sentient beings of the samsara or of the 6 realms. So if we can focus in such a way, then it means our object of loving kindness is limitless. And because the object is limitless, therefore the thought of loving kindness or the subject is also limitless. And also the action, the practice itself is limitless. So because of this limitless, that's why this practice of loving kindness is known as the practice of limitless loving kindness. So this practice is very, very important, especially in this world. At the moment, there are many problems and there are many sufferings, and many of these sufferings and problems are caused by our own hatred, our own negative thoughts. Actually, mainly or principally, these major problems are caused by negative thoughts. But if we look into more detail, then we can say all these problems are result of our own karma, our own individual and collective karma. So every problem, every suffering is caused by our own individual or collective actions, which are motivated by our thoughts. So therefore, it is very important to really or sincerely to practice the loving kindness so that we can gain great benefits from this. Temporarily, we can be happy. Loving kindness makes us happy. It won't make us unhappy. Loving kindness will always make us happy, make all the others happy. So it is the practice that can make oneself and others happy. And also it makes us united. And also it causes us to stay in peace and harmony. So we need this practice for short term also. For this life also we need this practice. But our focus is not for this life alone, but for the sake of all the sentient beings, and also not only for this life, but for countless times. Until samsara ends, we need to practice this loving kindness. So with this, I would like to say again that we always should understand the meaning and then practice. The practice is the main thing that can make impact on us, that can change our mental attitude, that can subdue our own mind, or that can tame our own wild mind. So the practice of loving kindness is one of the methods to train our own wild mind. So we should always try our best to remember and to put this teaching into action, put this thought into action, as much as possible, so that we can familiarize with this practice. And once we are familiarized, then wherever we meet any beings, we will always show our loving kindness to them. Otherwise, we know the meaning of loving kindness, but when we meet others and when they cause us to irritate, or when they try to irritate our mind, then we cannot bear, then we cannot tolerate, and then we get angry towards them. Then it means we lost the practice of loving kindness. Then it means at that time we don't have the loving kindness. Loving kindness and anger, these two cannot be together in one mind at the same time. For example, in one cup, you cannot put hot water and cold water at the same time. If you put, then it becomes warm water. It will not become hot or cold. You cannot say this cup is full of hot water and cold water. Cold and hot cannot be together at the same time in one cup. It cannot remain as hot or cold at the same time. So similarly, anger or the hatred and loving kindness will not remain at the same time in the same mind or in the same mental continuum. So therefore, what we need to practice, what we need to challenge, is we need to challenge our anger. And to challenge our anger or to control our anger, we need to practice loving kindness. And if we can defeat the anger, or if we can win our anger through the practice of loving kindness, then we are the truly winner. We are the real hero that can defeat the negative thoughts. So therefore, we always should practice loving kindness. If sometime we get angry, then we are the loser. We cannot maintain our practice of loving kindness. Then we are the loser. We are defeated by our own anger. Our loving kindness is lost. Our loving kindness is defeated by our own anger. So if we want to be a winner, then we must defeat the anger, or we must control the anger through the practice of loving kindness. So therefore, not just remember the meaning of this teaching, but always try to put this teaching into action and try to familiarize with such practice. Then definitely we will have a great result in the short term as well as in the long term. So with this, I will conclude my today's session. Thank you.